Welcome to the Thursday Live. How's everybody doing today? Hello, hello, hello. As you're joining me, let me know if you can hear me. Put hello in the comments so I know we're all good. If you're catching this on the replay, type replay in the comments so I know you're grabbing the replay. For those of you who are asking for it, we'll definitely make sure to get this to you. But how are you guys doing today? Can you believe it's almost November? I cannot believe this. It's almost my birthday month. So fun. So let me know as you're joining me. Leave a hi in the comments so I know you're here. I know you're excited for this training. I'm bringing you today an amazing topic that we need to talk about way more often in the coaching world. So the topic for today's training is going to be about fear of success. Fear of success. And we're not really going to get into what success is and what success means, because that's a whole nother training about how we label success and what we deem a success versus not success. But for the purposes of this conversation, in terms of coaching and being coaches, we're going to label success as getting clients. Okay? So if you get a client, that is a success. All right? If clients are saying, yes, I want you to be my coach, I want to work with you, that is having success as a coach. That is what we are all after. If we're trying to grow our coaching business, we're trying to get clients and make money. Be a paid coach. Hey Cherokee, good to see you on here. So one of the things that comes up, interestingly enough, and it seems almost counterintuitive, it seems like it wouldn't be something that would even be present for coaches, but one of the things that comes up when we're trying to grow our coaching business and get clients is this idea of fear of success of getting clients. And that's something that came up this week with several of the coaches in OCI. We did some work around this, so I'm bringing it to you all today because it's a very interesting phenomena that happens, and it's happening in our brains. And how you know this is there is if you tell yourself the thought, it's possible to sign a client today. It's possible to sign a client today. How many of you believe that is true? So if you're in OCI, every single one of you know it's true. Okay? We've talked about that, and we know exactly how to get a client today. However, something that happens interestingly enough, and this is why fear of success is a conversation that should be talked about, is you'll notice when you tell yourself a thought, any thought, it's going to immediately trigger an emotion in your body, right? Our thoughts create our feelings. So if we have the thought that we believe it's possible to sign a client today, the client is coming today, and we have this emotion inside our body that's kind of like a, oh no, then we know we have a little bit of fear of success going on. Because if it's anything other than this is amazing, let's go get that client today, it's totally happening, it's possible, and that would be the best thing ever, let's make it happen. If we're having any feelings come up that are conflicting with that of signing a client, we know there's a fear of success in there. So what are we making it mean about getting a client today? Why is there an emotion inside of this that is contradictory to that of signing clients? So that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that something's gone horribly wrong or you're not ready to be a coach or it's a sign from the universe that you shouldn't be doing this right now. It's totally normal, and it's there for most of us at some point. Okay? So just know that if that's you and you notice a feeling come up, if you believe that you could get a client today and you're less than excited, there's something going on there around fear of success. It's totally normal, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So leave me a comment if you relate to any of this at all, if you've ever felt nervous about the idea of signing a client. Like, if I were to be successful and sign a client right now, I'd also be freaking out a little bit. So what I want you to do is I want you to just take a look at thinking about what it would look like to be a successful coach. A lot of times we have an image that we've just kind of imagined in our mind about what a successful coach would look like. So females, we do this very well in other areas of our life. For example, when we have an image of what the perfect female body should be, and we struggle with our body image, oftentimes we have an image in our head of what the perfect body should be, that perfect image, right? And it's just an image that we've decided in our brain, or as a society we feel like we've been told is this perfect female body image. Well, we do the same thing when we think about successful coaches. We create an image in our head of what that looks like. So I want you to think about this. Do this exercise with me right now. Just close your eyes, or if you're driving, don't close your eyes. If you're doing something that you need to be looking around, keep your eyes open, but just take a moment to imagine what you envision when you look at a successful coach. What are all of the beliefs and thoughts you have about what that person must be in order to do that? Okay, so you guys should all have different ideas in your head and a vision that comes up when you think about a successful coach. So take some time on this. You can do this exercise multiple times to really take this work deeper, but I just want you to imagine it. Imagine what it would look like, because oftentimes when we think about what it would require to be a successful coach, there's things in there that we didn't even consciously know we believed that are things we don't want. Things that we don't want to be, to have to be, or things that we don't want for our life that we are believing are a must if you are successful. Okay? So, for example, a lot of times we look at successful people, and one of the biggest fears around success, one of the biggest limiting beliefs we have is that in order to be successful, you're going to have to put in so much work. It's going to be so much work that you're not going to have any balance in your life. You're not going to have any time for your family. You're definitely not going to have time for your partner anymore. You're not even going to have time for yourself to do anything that you used to enjoy. You're going to have to be a workaholic to be a successful, even just a successful six-figure coach. They must work a lot. They must have no balance. How many of you think that on a subconscious level, where you just think that if you see a successful coach, or you just picture that perfect body image, picture that perfect coach, they're working really hard. They're a workaholic. They're super dedicated to their craft. That must be their whole life, right? And if you don't want that to be your whole life, then that is not in alignment with you creating success. You're going to have some resistance to going out and building a successful business because part of you believes that you're not going to like your life once you get there. Do you see why this is so important? And then the other belief that I hear a lot of times from coaches is that, you know what, if I sign a client and I become successful and I'm making $10K a month and clients are saying yes to me, I'm getting clients every single month, you know what? I'm going to let my clients down. They're probably going to be disappointed in me. I'm going to be so successful over here, and the whole time they're going to realize that, like, I'm not even really helping them. Like, what if I just can't? What if I fooled everybody into thinking they should work with me? I tricked them, and they realized I'm over here with all my success and my money and my clients, and they're over here not getting results. How many of you worry about that? Especially when you actually start charging what you're worth and offering a high-ticket solution to a major life problem, and they agree with you that this problem is worth fixing and they're trusting in you to help them, then what comes up for you? What does that success look like? Success, having the clients are saying yes to you, you have this amazing business. Uh-oh. What happens when all my clients realize they hired the wrong coach? I can't even help them. Leave a yes in the comments if you've had that one, because there are people right now who have that fear, who are probably a little bit ashamed to admit it, and even just seeing that other coaches worry about that is definitely going to help all of us have an open conversation about it, so we can get out of shame and hiding in the fear and just bring it to light, and let's take a look at it. So we're going to talk about that today too. Let me know in the comments if that one's you, number 2. And then the other one, the third one, is that we just sometimes tell ourselves these stories when we haven't had success yet, we haven't had the clients. We start telling ourselves this story that we're just not a successful kind of person. Again, what is that image in your mind of what a successful kind of person is? I'm just not someone that can do something like this. I'm not someone that can just go enroll clients into coaching. I'm not the type of person that gets clients. That's just not who I am, right? So just labeling yourself as this type of person that isn't successful. Like, you don't align yourself with a vision of what success is. Do you see how this is all coming back to what some image in our mind that we've decided success is, right? We've decided success looks a certain type of way. So those are kind of at the root, but there are more in there. So if you have other beliefs, leave them in the comments. Other things around success that scare you. What's the thing that you fear the most around being successful? We all know being successful is amazing. We want it. That's why we set goals. But what is the thing that scares you about being successful? What are you afraid you're going to lose? What are you afraid you're going to feel? What's that scary side of it? Let's have a conversation about that today. So one of the first things that we talked about was, right, this idea of having a lot of work to do if we're successful. So this will show up by setting small goals. So if a 6-figure coach has a lot of work to do and has no work-life balance, right, has no time to be a mom or a parent or a spouse, or even just any time for you to give you space to be with yourself, then you're never going to set the goal to make $10K per month, because you actually don't want that vision of what that life looks like. So you're going to tell yourself, like, you know what, if I could just make $2,000 a month, that would be great. If I could just make $4,000, that's all I need. Notice when you set small goals for yourself, why is it that you don't want to reach for the 10K? What are you afraid that's going to look like? How much work are you just imagining it's going to be? And I think this stems from this belief that our society has told us in order to be successful, you have to work really hard and you have to, put in the blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm not saying that. I think there's something to be said for hard work, right? I'm not saying that we shouldn't have discipline and we shouldn't do hard things and that we should only do things when they feel like sunshine and daisies. But I also think there's a huge limiting belief around how much time something takes and how much hard work needs to go into creating a 6-figure business. If that were true, why are there people with 8-figure businesses working 3 days a week? Right? So we just assume certain things to be true. Just notice when you assume that you need to put in a lot of work and a lot of time that you don't feel you have. Right? If it were true, then why are there coaches right now who are creating 6-figure businesses part-time while they're working full-time and they're being a mom full-time to 3 kids and a wife to their husband? Right? So how is it possible that they're able to create this business part-time and build it to 6 figures if, in order to have a successful business, you already have to be able to put in all of this time and all of this work and all of this energy to be a successful business person or a successful coach, right? And you get to make that decision, right? Every single one of us gets to decide how much time and energy we put into our business, right? Everything that we do takes the amount of time that we decide it's going to take. I always tell this to my coaches in OCI. We talked about this on Monday. this belief of needing a lot of time. But the truth is, some of the most successful coaches who create their coaching business the fastest do it with the least amount of time. Why? Because they're the most resourceful with the time that they have. And then the coaches who think they need all of this time to go and grow their coaching business, and they give up everything to grow their coaching business, now they're left with their brains and their drama, and they realize it wasn't that I didn't have the time. I had some things going on in my head that were keeping me from taking the action I needed to take to grow my business. And that if I had cleared that up, I'd have so much more energy and space to show up for my business, and I wouldn't need to put in a ton of work, and I wouldn't need a ton of time to make it happen. So just notice if that's a belief that's there for you. Because we oftentimes tell ourselves that in order to have a successful business, it's going to take all of our personal time, all of our family time. We're going to be, running late for everything. Everything's going to be scattered all of the time. Everything's going to be chaotic. But really, at the root of that, it's just a symptom that we're not managing our time well. And when we manage our time well, and we're really great at being really efficient with our time, it gives you all of your power back, and you actually have way more balance in your life, and your business grows faster than ever. But that's a skill you can learn. You can learn how to be efficient when you grow your business. So just pay attention to that. Pay attention to what your brain has taken on as an image of successful. Because a lot of times we see this from movies. We see successful businessmen, and we see them in their suits up on the 50th floor in New York City at some corporate job, and they have no balance, and all they do is stay in their office. And our brain just subconsciously started believing that's what successful people's lives must look like. And it's not necessarily the case, especially in coaching. All right, how many of you actually want to live your whole life 50 hours a week just growing a coaching business? Probably not many of you. But leave me a comment if you feel like that's something you want to do. If you would want to be a workhorse. I think most coaches don't. Most coaches want to be coaches to help their clients, but also to have a better quality of life and to have freedom back in their life. I know that's why I became a coach. I wanted to have freedom. Freedom with my time, freedom to spend time with my family, freedom to have more time to myself, freedom to have more time to recharge and show up for my clients. And I think once I learned how to manage my time efficiently, and I changed this belief that if I'm not killing myself in my business, or even just spending all this time feeling guilty about how much time I should probably be spending on my business, once I changed that belief about what a successful coach should be doing, my business actually took off 10 times faster. So when you notice you have a belief, the first thing you need to do once you're aware that's like a belief you have about success, and this applies to any of the beliefs you're putting down on a piece of paper right now or making a mental note of. But the first thing you want to ask yourself is that true? Once you find the thought that's holding you back about success, is that true? Do I really know this is true about successful people? Right? Successful people have to work all of the time. What if it's possible that that's not true? Right? Practice the muscle of challenging those thoughts. Right? It's like an unintentional thought that's happening that you didn't know was programmed in there, and now you get to be aware of it and challenge it. Is that true? Why am I believing this? Could it be possible that successful people work without it consuming their entire life? Can I just play around with the possibility of that being true? So ask yourself, number one, is it true? If you get yourself to the place where you can recognize that, ask yourself, it could not be true. Get yourself to that place where you could also entertain that maybe it's not true. Maybe this is just a thought that my brain is believing, right? And then from that place, it's not true. Is it true? It could not be true. To it is not true. Do you see that? So first, create awareness around whatever you're fear is around success, the thing that you don't want your life to look like, is it true that my life is going to look like that if I'm successful or in order to be successful? It could not be true. And then the final step of that is, it's not true. My life is not going to look like that. If I'm successful, I'm not going to create that in my life. All right? So if this is going to be a lot of work, again, are you finding evidence of people who are creating successful six-figure businesses that aren't workaholics, that are just doing it part-time and they grew their business to six figures? And so if they made that their full-time thing, maybe their full-time thing could be a part-time thing and still be six figures. And then what would that do with the belief of, in order to do this, I have to be a workaholic? What if there were no rules about that? Right? And are you surrounding yourself with a community of other successful coaches who are providing your brain with that proof, with that evidence that there is more than enough time to grow a successful coaching business and still have a life that I love? Right? Are you actually being intentional about surrounding your brain with that proof, with that evidence? Or are you just surrounding yourself with people who are in a job that they hate, working 50 hours, 70 hours a week, barely getting by? So important to protect the energy that you feed your brain, because these beliefs that get in there sabotage you from succeeding. So if you have a belief that's in there that's not in congruence with what you want your life to look like, and it is also what you think your life will look like if you're successful, you will never create success. And it's like, no wonder. Why would you? This is so important. If you think success is going to mean you're going to have to work too much, or if work is the way you define success is a way that means that your life is going to have all this work and hustle in it, and you're never going to have time to be home, and you're never going to have time for the ones you love, what kind of life are you actually going to create? Feed your brain with the examples of a new way. Feed your brain with examples of people who are doing it and have a life balance that they love. Right? Be intentional about that, seeking that out. Right? Because what you're doing is you're showing your brain new programming. That it's possible for them means it's also possible for you too. Right? No one has anything that you don't have. Okay? Or that you can't achieve. And then the second thing that we talked about is that fear of disappointing our clients. So if we're defining, for the purposes of this conversation, success as getting clients, right? Getting paying clients. The other fear of success is that you're going to get the clients and all of your clients are going to be disappointed in you. So you're going to be over here having all of this success, and other people are going to suffer at the hands of your success because they're going to be disappointed, they're going to feel like it's not working, and they're not going to get results. Or they're going to tell me I'm wrong, and maybe they're right about me, right? Maybe my work just doesn't work. Maybe my coaching just doesn't help them. And so if we tell ourselves that story, I really want you to pay attention to this. If you tell yourself that story, that we're for sure going to sign clients and that it's not going to help them, or the clients are going to be unhelpable and they're going to be really disappointed in us, and we're over here in our success and other people are hurt because of it, are we going to sign clients if we have that belief? Are we going to create success? Are we going to be in any kind of hurry to go out and create success and sign clients? Right? So what happens is, if we believe that, we actually just don't put ourselves in the position to be successful in the first place. And if we don't realize consciously that this is happening, we think it's because of all of these other things. We think it's because our job is taking up too much of our time, or that our kids really have a lot going on right now and it's just not a good time, or we just need to figure out a few things and we're just not ready. But really what this is classic imposter syndrome. right? This is imposter syndrome work. So first and foremost, if you know that you can help someone, like at your core, if you're being honest with yourself, if you know you can help someone and you know logically you know how to help people, and you still have this fear that you're going to get a client and they're just not going to see results, this is always almost an indication that you've forgotten where the results come from in the first place, right? And we've talked about imposter syndrome on other trainings before, so I highly encourage you, if you resonate with this one, to go listen to that one, okay? I really encourage you. This is something we talk about a lot in OCI because this is so common for all of us. It doesn't mean you're broken. It doesn't mean you're not ready to grow a business. It doesn't mean you're not ready to get clients. Nothing has gone horribly wrong. In fact, your brain is working completely normally. We just need to create conscious awareness around what's going on in our brains. And most of us go through life unconscious about what's going on, and we don't understand why we keep recreating the same results over and over and over again in our life. Okay? So every single day, this is something I tell you guys in OCI to do. Every single day before you show up in your business, you need to consciously tell yourself why your program works. 100% of the time, why does it work? Remind your brain what to focus on. Remind your brain why it works. Why does the coaching that you're wanting to teach work? You know it works. You know it can help people. Remind your brain every day consciously to remember that. Conscious practicing, remembering why it works every single time. You cannot outrun your mind. I hate to break it to you. None of us can. We can't just ignore things that are in there and expect them to go away, because the second you sign a client, it's going to come right back up. So this is why we start the work now. This is why we start the work when we show up in our business and are out there signing clients. Okay? Because there's nothing like success or the idea of imminent success, like I could sign a client today, to bring up all of those emotions about ourselves. Right? Isn't that interesting how that works? It's the exact opposite of how we should feel when we think about being successful. The thing we want the most is to have a successful business and clients. When I actually believe it could happen today, why am I having these negative emotions? This is the work to be done, okay? And the last fear that I hear is that this idea of, we talked about what that image of that successful person would look like, and a lot of times we just tell ourselves a story about what that is and we say, that's not us, right? Maybe we've seen a successful coach and they have a different personality than us, and our brains just decided that that's the personality that succeeds. There's certain personality characteristics, and I'm just not that person. Notice if you've ever told yourself that story. I'm just not that personality that succeeds. We have this specific image in our head of maybe successful people are super outgoing or super extroverted, and I'm not. So leave me a comment. When you picture a super successful coach, what personality would you describe that to be? What word comes to your mind when you describe that person's personality? I'm super interested to hear what you think a successful coach's personality is like. Leave me a comment. Is it extroverted, outgoing? Sometimes we have beliefs about successful coaches that they're young and I'm too old, or they're older and more mature and I'm too young. What do you think a successful coach embodies? What's that word that you think? I want to hear from you guys. And so really, though, if you think about this personality type or this image of the personality that you just assume they have, and if you think that you don't align with that, really what you're saying is that a successful person has a specific image, and my self-image, because we all have an image of ourselves, how we picture ourselves to be, what we believe to be true about ourselves, we're saying that those two are not the same. We don't align with that. So if you have not read this book, I've talked about this book before. It's Cybernetics. I highly suggest you read that book if you have not read it. It's by Maxwell Maltz. He talks about this concept a lot. A lot. And the concept is your self-image and how that shows up everywhere. It shows up for pro athletes. It shows up for women when they walk into the plastic surgeon office and they have a self-image. And he, as a plastic surgeon, would change whatever it was on their image. On their, if they thought they had a big nose and they wanted their nose changed, whatever it was that was bothering them, his whole book, you guys need to read this book. It's all about self-image. If he changed their features, if their self-image also does not change, it doesn't matter what you change physically if your self-image doesn't change, right? So if we think about that in our coaching business, if we think successful people are a certain way, maybe we think successful people are super serious and that they just don't know how to have fun. But part of our self-image is a really fun person, and we like to laugh and we like to have fun with everything. We're going to think that there's no way we're going to be as successful as this person. It's never going to happen for us. We're never going to have that many clients because we just don't know how to be that serious, right? So whatever it is that you are choosing to believe is a personality trait of a successful person, just notice if it doesn't align with you, that's probably not a thought that's serving you. And I just want to offer to you that there are no rules, my friend. There are no rules about what type of person gets to be successful, what type of person gets to have the most clients, okay? So you get to make successful look any way you want, all right? And it's also absolutely possible that who you are right now, the personality that you identify with right now, is totally compatible with success. How many of you believe that? How many of you already believe that you are compatible with success right now? And all you need to do is find the blueprint and you're ready to take clients. You're ready to have the success right now. It doesn't mean that you're not going to do any self-coaching on yourself, or you're not going to notice beliefs that are in there, or some head trash that you didn't realize was there, and do work on it. We do that all the time. I do that on myself. All the coaches in OCI do that. We're always taking a look at what's in there, but the difference is we're not making it mean that we're not ready for success, or that if we are successful, insert negative belief about what's going to happen, right? So the biggest thing that you can do when you're spending time noticing a fear of success come up, a fear of getting a client, a fear of what your life's going to look like, you're not sure you're ready for that life, just notice it's there, okay? 90% of this work is just noticing it's there so that now you have the power to do something about it. If we go through our life unconscious of how we make decisions, running away when we feel fear or feel unafraid or feel self-doubt or any of those emotions that keep us stuck instead of moving forward, we can't do anything about it if we don't notice the pattern is there. And so often, especially when it comes from fear of success, because it sounds so counterintuitive, most of us don't even know it's there until we start paying attention to this. So I want you to pay attention to that this week. What beliefs about success are keeping you from wanting to run towards it, full steam ahead? What beliefs of success are keeping you moving in this slow momentum? Like, you're going to get there eventually, but also there's things about it you're not totally sure you're going to be on board with yet. Those are the beliefs to call out and say, is it true? Maybe that's not true. And again, are you surrounding yourself with a group of successful people that help you break those beliefs, that are also living examples that the opposite is true about success? And then the third belief is it's not true. So call it out, notice it's there. Is it true? Maybe it's not true. Maybe it's possible that it's not true. It's definitely not true. All right, my friends? So I'm curious to hear from you. Leave it in the comments so we can all have a discussion about it. What are some of the things that you notice? And maybe they are things that you've used to struggle with and you've gotten past that you want to share with other people around your fear of success. Things that you were afraid were going to have to be part of your life that you weren't sure you were on board with, that you now realize are maybe not true. Leave it in the comments so we can have a discussion about it. I think more coaches need to talk about this because sometimes we talk about fear of failure so much that we forget that there's things we're afraid are going to happen once we get the clients. Once we're actually successful and we have a business and people are coming to us and believing we're a coach and wanting to work with us, what's all the junk that's in our head about reaching that level? All right, my friends, and if you want coaching on this or you want to be in a community of other coaches who are succeeding and who are breaking down those limiting beliefs every single day and showing up in their business, you want to start being the coach who has success and you don't want to be afraid of it anymore, leave success in the comments and we'll chat with you about your business. We'll see if OCI is a good fit for you. If not, we'll give you some type of guidance at least about the direction that your business should be going right now in the meantime to keep you moving forward. So leave success in the comments if you want to talk to someone about your business, about whether we can help you in OCI. If you're watching this on the replay, leave success in the comments. But until then, thank you so much for joining me today, you guys. I love chatting with you every week. Thank you for participating along. And until next week, I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.